Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. The diagnostic trouble code DTC P0463 signifies a fault in the fuel level sensor, specifically indicating a high voltage issue in the fuel gauge sending unit circuit. This problem pertains to the electronic systems in your Honda Civic from 2016 to 2021. The fuel level sensor is crucial for determining the amount of fuel in the tank, allowing the fuel gauge on your dashboard to display this information accurately. When the DTC P0463 is registered, it usually indicates a malfunction in the connection or circuit that relays fuel level data to the gauge control module. The throttle control module, ECM, engine control module, and fuel gauge are all interconnected in this process. Addressing this DTC promptly is important to ensure the accurate functioning of your fuel gauge and the vehicle's overall performance. The DTC P0463 explicitly indicates a high voltage condition in the fuel level sensor circuit, which is part of the fuel gauge sending unit. This unit is located inside the fuel tank and is responsible for transmitting the fuel level to the gauge control module within the dashboard. When the vehicle is running, it sends electrical signals that help display the accurate fuel level on the driver's dashboard. A malfunctioning fuel level sensor can lead to erratic fuel gauge readings or complete failure of the gauge. The gauge control module processes the signals it receives and uses this information to indicate the amount of fuel remaining in the tank. Understanding the location and role of each component is essential, as effective troubleshooting relies on this knowledge. Several factors may lead to the occurrence of DTC P0463. An open circuit in the wiring can disrupt the transmission of signals from the fuel level sensor to the gauge control module, resulting in a false high voltage reading. Furthermore, a faulty fuel gauge sensor could be generating erroneous voltage levels, affecting the readings displayed. Problems within the gauge control module itself can also contribute to this issue, as it may misinterpret signals it receives from the fuel sensor. Additionally, loose connections or corrosion in the wiring harness could potentially create intermittent faults. Understanding these potential causes is vital for effective troubleshooting, as identifying the root cause directly influences the repair strategy to be employed. The symptoms that accompany the DTC P0463 can significantly affect your driving experience. Erratic fuel gauge readings may cause confusion, making it difficult to determine how much fuel is left in the tank. This could lead to situations where the driver misjudges fuel levels, possibly resulting in stalling due to lack of fuel. Additionally, the vehicle may trigger caution or warning lights on the dashboard, alerting the driver of a potential issue with the fuel system. In some cases, incorrect level readings may cause drivers to falsely believe they have ample fuel, potentially leading to running out of fuel unexpectedly. Identifying these symptoms early allows for proactive measures to be taken, thus enhancing the vehicle's reliability. The first step in troubleshooting DTC P0463 involves verifying the problem and checking if the code appears again. Begin by turning the vehicle to the on position without starting the engine, as this allows the onboard diagnostic system to initialize. Next, use the HDS, which stands for Honda Diagnostic System, to clear the DTC. After clearing, wait for approximately 5 seconds to give the system time to reset. Finally, recheck for any pending or confirmed DTCs through the HDS. If DTC P0463 reappears, this indicates that the issue needs further investigation. If not, intermittent failures could be at play, warranting inspection of the gauge control module and the wiring for poor connections. In the second troubleshooting step, you need to perform an open wire check in the fuel gauge line. Start by turning the vehicle off to ensure safety during the examination. Next, remove the gauge control module from its position, which is located in the dashboard area, usually behind the instrument cluster. Disconnect the specific connectors, the fuel tank unit 4P connector, and the gauge control module connector A, 32P. This will allow you to isolate the wiring for testing. You will then connect a jumper wire between terminal A of the fuel tank unit 4P connector number 4 and the body ground. By checking for continuity between the specified test points, you can determine if there is an intact circuit. If continuity is present, it suggests that the wiring and connections are sound, allowing you to move to the next troubleshooting step. For the third step of troubleshooting, you will repeat the process to check the fuel gauge plus line. First, remove the jumper wire that was previously connected to the fuel tank unit 4P connector. Then, attach a new jumper wire, but this time, connect it from terminal A of the fuel tank unit 4P connector, number 2, to body ground. With this new setup in place, check for continuity again between test points 1 and 2. Similar to the previous step, continuity confirms that the circuit is functioning correctly. If continuity is absent, this could point to an open circuit in the fuel gauge plus wire that connects the gauge control module to the fuel tank unit. Identifying such issues is essential for effective repair. In the final troubleshooting step, you will focus on the fuel gauge sending unit. Start by detaching the jumper wire once again from the 4P connector. At this point, directly test the fuel gauge sending unit itself for functionality. This is vital for understanding if the sending unit is operational. If the unit tests positively and is functioning correctly, it signifies that the gauge control module may be at fault and would need replacement. Conversely, if the testing shows that the fuel gauge sending unit is non-functional, then replacing that component is necessary. Making this determination is crucial as it directs further repairs and can ultimately resolve the issues indicated by DTC P0463. After completing the necessary repairs for DTC P0463, it is essential to conduct a final verification to ensure everything is functioning as expected. Use the HDS again to check if the DTCs have cleared successfully and confirm there are no remaining codes. This confirmation is critical for verifying that the repairs made have rectified the issues present before. Following this, a test drive of the vehicle should be performed under various conditions, including normal driving and stops, to ensure that the fuel gauge provides accurate readings and no warning lights appear. A successful test drive without any reoccurrence of DTC P0463 indicates that the repair process was effective. Ensuring all these steps are followed solidifies the repair and assures the driver of the vehicle's reliability. To reduce the likelihood of encountering DTC P0463 in the future, implementing preventive maintenance measures is advisable. Performing regular inspections of wiring, particularly in the areas connected to the fuel gauge and tank unit, helps identify any signs of wear, fraying, or damage early on. Checking for corrosion at connection points can also greatly enhance the reliability of the electrical systems. Tightening and ensuring proper connections between the fuel gauge sensor and the gauge control module can prevent intermittent issues from arising. Maintaining clean and secure connections emphasizes the longevity of the sensor's operation. Adopting these preventive measures significantly enhances the overall reliability of your vehicle's fuel gauge system. In summary, the DTC P0463 highlights issues with the fuel level sensor and indicates the presence of high voltage within its circuit. Proper troubleshooting involves a systematic approach, starting with verifying the fault through the Honda Diagnostics system. Each troubleshooting step focuses on critical components, namely the gauge control module and fuel level sensor. Repairing open circuits and ensuring correct functionality of these parts are vital for restoring accurate fuel gauge readings. Additionally, applying preventive maintenance strategies helps keep such issues at bay in the future. By remaining vigilant and proactive, owners of the Honda Civic from 2016 to 2021 can significantly enhance their vehicle's performance and reliability. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time!